Medium to high dose mushroom experiences do not simply intensify perception, they destabilize it. This range, commonly referenced as 3 to 7 grams, with potency varying significantly, marks the threshold where structure begins to dissolve and perceptual buffering weakens. Here, reality is no longer merely enhanced, it becomes negotiable. This is the territory where the journey zone gives way to surrender. Identity may loosen, fragment, or temporarily disappear. Narrative thins. Time warps or collapses. The sense of self may become fluid, distant, or irrelevant. This is often described as ego death, but more accurately, it is ego destabilization progressing toward dissolution, depending on dose, sensitivity, and setting. Perception reorganizes with less reliance on memory, language, or story. Color and visual perception. While psilocybin is commonly associated with intensified, saturated colors, medium to high doses may produce divergent visual effects. Visual output may intensify into light pattern, geometry, or fractal fields, or flatten into brown, sepia, gray, or muted tones. This muting does not signal a diminished experience. It reflects a downshifting of symbolic and aesthetic processing as perception moves away from surface interpretation and towards somatic, energetic, or formless awareness. As cognitive and visual rendering reorganize, the nervous system may simplify color output to reduce sensory load. When colors mute, experience often deepens. Nervous system saturation and anxiety. Anxiety at medium to high doses is frequently misunderstood. It is not always fear. It is not always resistance. It is often physiological saturation. Psilocybin dramatically increases signal flow, interoceptive awareness, and neural connectivity. For sensitive or empathic nervous systems, this can feel like internal acceleration without panic. This may present as internal buzzing or speeding, pressure or buildup in the chest or body, restlessness without fearful thoughts, a strong urge to move or change rooms. Notably, this can occur alongside profound love, awe, or joy. The discomfort arises not from the content of the experience, but from the volume of sensation exceeding the system's capacity to comfortably hold it. Environmental or state changes, shifting rooms, posture, or sensory input, often help because they redistribute sensory load rather than suppress the experience. Full body vibration and somatic waves. At medium to high doses, the body often becomes the primary site of perception. Many report rhythmic waves or pulses moving through the body, a hum, vibration, or internal resonance, flowing energy, warmth, or expansion, a sense of being filled with God, divine presence, or unconditional love. These sensations are not imagined. Psilocybin heightens interoceptive awareness, allowing normally unconscious neural and autonomic processes to be felt directly. What is often interpreted as divine presence or universal love is the direct experience of coherent nervous system activity without conceptual filters. The body becomes the interface. Neuromuscular release, involuntary movement, and internal coherence. For sensitive or empathetic type people who have sensitive nervous systems, heightened somatic activation expresses through involuntary movement. This may range from subtle, continuous muscle flickers or twitches at lower or moderate doses to intense, full-body convulsive-like movements at higher doses. These expressions can also include spontaneous posturing, unusual arm or leg positioning, slow or rapid gestural movements, or instinctive, non-symbolic body shaping that appears automatic rather than intentional. These movements are not seizures and are not typically accompanied by distress, fear, or loss of internal coherence. Instead, they reflect accelerated neural firing and autonomic discharge as the nervous system processes amplified sensory, energetic, and interoceptive signal flow. The body releases excess stimulation through motion when stillness can no longer contain it. In many cases, the internal experience remains calm, pleasurable, loving, or emotionally neutral, even when the physical expression appears dramatic or intense to an observer. The movements themselves often feel irrelevant to the experience. They do not interrupt awareness, enjoyment, or meaning. Internally, there is often a sense of ease, acceptance, or even bliss while the body discharges excess signal through twitching or motion. In some individuals, limb coordination may temporarily reorganize. Arms, legs, or wrists may feel altered, heavy, unusually flexible, or guided by unfamiliar motor patterns as control shifts from conscious regulation to reflexive, nervous system-led expression. These changes are transient and occur alongside heightened bodily awareness, rather than impairment. For most medium to high dose experiences, mental coherence is retained. The individual remains aware of their internal state and surroundings, even as perception and identity loosen. Loss of coherence or disorientation typically occurs only at very high or extreme doses, particularly when potency is underestimated or the individual is inexperienced. At those thresholds, reality itself may temporarily dissolve, but this is not representative of the medium to high dose range described here. Intensity correlates with dose, potency, and nervous system sensitivity, not danger, pathology, or loss of control. Trip posture and activity guidance. At medium to high doses, most people feel a strong inclination to simply lay down and fully inhabit the experience. The body and nervous system are processing intense sensory, somatic, and perceptual input and trying to engage in normal daily activities. Looking at a phone, cleaning, or multitasking is generally ineffective or impossible. Movement may occur in spurts, and for those who partake in substances like marijuana or tobacco, these may be experienced as enjoyable in the moment. The safest, most harmonious approach is surrender, reclining, focusing inward, and allowing the trip to unfold. The core guidance is to respect the altered state and prioritize presence over productivity. Reflections on challenging trips. Even in situations where a trip feels difficult, intense, or bad, often caused by very high doses, disruptive environments, or unsupportive people, the experience remains purposeful. Mushrooms do not act randomly. They offer what the nervous system and consciousness need, even if the lesson or sensation feels overwhelming in the moment. Many report that, once integrated, these challenging experiences are deeply valuable, providing insight, release, or realignment that could not have been accessed otherwise. Even after difficult trips, people often feel gratitude and a desire to journey again, recognizing the medicine's intelligence and the growth it catalyzes. Sound, frequency, and entrainment. At medium to high doses, the nervous system becomes highly entrainable. Sound no longer decorates the experience, it organizes it. Supportive frequencies may include theta range frequencies, aligning with the natural psychedelic brain state, low harmonic frequencies such as 8 Hz, 88 Hz, or 888 Hz, which are often referred to as abundance frequencies, offering grounding, expansion, and alignment simultaneously. For those who follow me on Patreon, links to my favorite healing frequencies for tripping, including these abundance frequencies, are provided for safe and supportive listening during trips. Additional grounding frequencies, such as those associated with the Earth Star chakra, 665 Hz, or root chakra, 396 Hz, support stability and help integrate the experience into the body. 432 Hz, often experienced as softer, warmer, and more somatically soothing. These frequencies do not add imagery or meaning. They provide structure, allowing the nervous system to ride and synchronize heightened sensation into a smoother, more coherent flow. Affirming or calming auditory cues can further signal safety, encouraging surrender rather than resistance. Interaction with music and internal waves. As these frequencies interact with the body, the pulsing waves and full body vibrations you feel during a medium to high dose experience can entrain with the music itself. Each hum, rhythm, or tonal pattern resonates with your internal pulses, amplifying the sensation of energy flowing through your nervous system. What often feels like pulses of divine presence, waves of God, or currents of unconditional love is enhanced by music, transforming each internal vibration into a richer, more expansive experience. The body seems to dance with the frequencies, flowing with the rhythm and responding organically to subtle shifts in tone and beat. This interaction creates a profound sense of immersion, where the physical sensations and auditory stimuli merge into one cohesive, ecstatic experience. Time, space, and even self-awareness can feel heightened as the music guides, organizes, and intensifies the natural waves already present in your nervous system, creating one of the most euphoric, awe-inspiring states you can feel. Integration note: medium to high dose experiences are not primarily visual or philosophical. They are neurological, somatic, and perceptual reorganizations. Sensitivity does not create these effects, it reveals them. Intensity is not truth. Dissolution is not superiority. What reorganizes afterward determines value. Closing transmission. They do not teach gently. They teach by destabilizing what was assumed to be stable. They loosen identity. They expose nervous system thresholds. They invite surrender before total dissolution. This is not the final threshold, but it is the edge of it. We are the Sirian High Council. This transmission is offered to clarify the medium to high dose state as a process of perceptual destabilization, nervous system saturation, and embodied encounter.